Hey, Industrial Sage community, for today's episode, we're going to go over how to use your website to generate leads and, most importantly, why you want to do that. Don't miss out on this episode.
Welcome to Industrial Sage, a free video podcast series all about digital marketing for industrial manufacturers. Hear interviews with your peers and find out how they're solving the same challenges that you might be facing in your own field. Coming to you from the Optimum Production Studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is Industrial Sage.
Okay, so lead generation, it's a huge topic for most, if not all, manufacturing industrial companies and really just all the companies in general. So lead generation is such a big thing, and for the most part, we all know that things have changed and have shifted. We're hearing a lot that trade shows maybe might not be working the way that they once used to, and the ways that you would go to market to sell your product and get in front of people, you're seeing a decline in that. What are new ways of doing that? Well, we're going to talk about how to use your website to generate leads. But before we get into that, we have to answer a really important question. And that first question is, why your website? Well, there's a real simple answer for that, and that is the fact that the buying cycle, the way that we buy things, has dramatically changed, largely because of the internet. All you have to do is think about for yourself, when you want to go buy something, what do you do? Or let's say you have a challenge, you're trying to figure out something, what do you do? You go to the Googles, you go to the internet, you go look up your thing, you put in, how do I solve this? How do I do X, Y, Z? And then you start your journey, you start going that way, okay? And that doesn't matter whether it's a B2B purchase or B2C. If you're looking to buy, a new t-shirt or whatever, you're gonna do that versus, hey, how do I solve this challenge? That is the first go-to place. Nobody's going and looking at your, yellow pages anymore. That's the first place because that's the quickest way you're going to get your answers. That's exactly what your target customers are doing, whether you want to believe that or not. That's exactly what they're doing, okay? So you got to look at that. That's number one. There's a really great study. We have some content around the shift of the buying cycle. And one fun little fact for you is that the Google in 2015 came up with a stat, and we've talked about it on Industrial Sage quite a bit, but in 2015, Google came out with a study. They found that nearly 50%, this was 3 years ago, okay, if you're still watching in 2018, that nearly 50% of all B2B buyers were, get this, millennial. Okay, so the way the millennials buy, I'm a millennial, I'm on the top end of that, is very different than maybe the baby boomer or the Gen X, like what we've grown up with. In my lifetime, I didn't grow up with the internet all the way there. It started kind of growing there, but we are so accustomed to buying that way, pulling out our phone and looking, and we want to get our information very, very quickly. And so I can guarantee you that for your product or your service that you're selling, that people are looking online for it, and you have to ask yourself, can we be found? Are we there? Okay, so we're laying that foundational piece. You need to use your website to generate leads, okay? And now we're going to answer that question. Well, okay, great. Now that we know we need to do it, how do we do it? Do we just put up like a website and things are great and all of a sudden these leads are going to start coming in? Well, no, it's not going to happen overnight. But here's a couple things that you can do to really make sure you're able to generate those leads. The first thing is you need to have something that looks appealing. You've got good design. So somebody goes to your website, it's nice and fast, it looks clean, and it clearly articulates who you are and what you do. There's nothing more challenging and frustrating than going to a website and you get there and you're like, I don't know what this person does or what this company does. A viewer needs to go to your website, and within 3 seconds, they need to be able to understand very quickly who you are and what you do. Okay, if it takes longer than that, there's a stat. I don't have the exact figure on there, but it's something around like 3 seconds or so that we're making a decision whether we're going to stay on a website or not, and we want to make sure that we can find the answers that we're looking for very quickly. So we're making a very snap judgment. We've been trained and accustomed to do that. So make sure that your website looks good and people know what you are, who you are, and what you do. Okay. So the next thing is you want to think of your website as it's got to be all education based. Okay, you need to obviously educate your prospect on what you do, how you do it, your products and your services, and think of it as an extension of your sales team. So imagine imagine sort of that trade show experience. You want to get traffic around your booth. You want people there to come, and maybe you have a press release announcement, so you get press and people there to come there. You're essentially trying to get traffic to that trade show booth so that you can start teaching them and talking to them about your product and service. So what happens in that trade show experience? They come in, you have a lead. Hey, what's your name? Let me talk to you. Where are you from? Here's our product and our service. Here's what we do. And you start having that conversation. We are taking that. We're doing the exact same thing. You want to do that with your website, okay? You want to generate traffic. You want to get people to your website, AKA your trade show booth, and then start having a conversation. Start educating them on what it is that you do and how you can help them, okay? So start thinking about it that way. That's where having really relevant content around your website will help to do that. So if you start thinking about, maybe what are the challenges or the top questions that you get asked at a trade show or from a prospect that you're talking to about your product or service, because it's a challenge that they have, start taking that content and start framing it and start positioning it on your website so that they can start getting some of those challenges and those problems that they have answered. You start becoming more of an authority. You start addressing that. Okay, so having content like, let's say, blogs, for example, is a really important thing where you can continue to have content going out there that is helping to continually answer the challenges that your clients have. And one big thing is it can't be, and it shouldn't be super salesy. Now, does that mean you shouldn't have like your product there with with the costs and whatever? Yeah, okay, you do absolutely need to have that, but it shouldn't be front and center, buy, super transactional. You're just starting a relationship. Think of it the same example you have with a trade show. When they come in, that first interaction that you're having with them, you're not saying, hey, buy from us. You're getting to know them. You're getting to know each other. Saying, hey, I'm Danny. I'm going to introduce myself. What's your name? Where are you from? What can I help you with? What do you like? What is it that you're looking for? What can I help you with? You're facilitating that conversation. It's the same exact thing, sort of in that digital experience. And the beauty of it is that if you do it right, you do it well. It's like taking your sales force and being able to really automate it. So let's say you are on Eastern Standard Time, right? You're on the East Coast, and you've got clients that are in Europe or in Asia, and while you're sleeping, they are looking at your website and learning about you versus having a salesperson out there physically having to talk to every single person. You're able to really educate at scale, to really be able to augment and help to be able to support your sales team, to be able to really educate those prospects on what you do. So you want to have really good content that speaks to these challenges that your prospects are looking for. Now, the last, not the last tip, but one of the biggest tips we're going to cover right now is having content offers. So what is that? So I know you've gone to different websites and maybe you're there for a minute or two and then all of a sudden a little pop-up comes in. It says, hey, join our email newsletter list, or hey, we've got this great report on the insights of the industry or the new trends that are coming in. If you're on IndustrialSage, you're seeing that. We have little pop-ups coming. You're probably seeing a pop-up or have seen one that says, hey, we have a digital marketing content planner, download it here. That's the exact same kind of thing that you guys want to be doing, but you want to make sure that it's framed for your target market, your target audience. So a real good example is, let's say you are selling steel tanks, okay? One of the things that you could offer is maybe a buyer's guide, or maybe it could be the top trends that you're seeing in a particular industry. Let's say you have steel tanks for the beverage industry. Let's say craft brewers, for example. One of a good, what we call top of the funnel content offers is the top trends that you're seeing for the craft brewer industry in terms of growth rates or adoption rates or technology, the use of technology, some type of information that is going to be really relevant and valuable to them. And they say, oh wow, that's us. And all you got to do is you got to put your email in there, and then you get that. That's awesome. That's great. Another one that is pretty widely well used are webinars, for example. All right, we're gonna teach you on how to solve your challenge of X. And what it should not be is learn about our new product and how it's amazing and it's awesome. No, That's bad. What you need to do is position your content on how you guys can exercise your authority, your expertise to help solve their challenge, and they don't necessarily have to buy from you for that. Now, yeah, you do want them to buy, obviously, but it's a lead-in. You want them to put their information in so that you can continue to have that conversation. So that's a really big trick, and that's a big thing that most companies that we see out there fail at. They don't do it. Or if they do it, it's not really super, incentivizing. It's hey, learn about our products. Okay, I mean, that's, if they're really interested and they really do want to, get there, fine. But most of the time, you kind of want to start off with some more bacon fat. You just offer some bacon, before you have to give them there's a phrase that you can tell how dorky I am with this, but there's a phrase like, how do you give? And maybe this is bad. No, this is good. This is real good. So how do you give a dog a pill? You wrap it in bacon, basically. All right, so you got your target customers, your prospects they're not dogs. This is such a bad example. No. Anyways, you get what I'm talking about, right? You have to make it engaging. You have to make it attractive to be able to get people to do it. So that is essentially, in a nutshell, it's how you boil it down on how to use your website to generate leads. Okay, so we'll recap it real quick. You want to have a website that looks good, it's clean, and when people come to your website, they can easily understand who you are and what you do. The next thing, you want to have relevant content that speaks to them and that helps to solve their challenges. And the last piece is you want to have additional content offers that help to solve their challenges. That's gated. So by gated, you have their email address so you can find out who they are and continue to have that conversation, and you can nurture them. And that's where really cool things like marketing automation platforms and all these different things come into play to help facilitate that conversation. But those are sort of really those three sort of core principal elements, and those things that you want to be putting on your website and using so that you can take that website and you can generate leads with it. You can turn your website into a salesperson, an automated salesperson that is continuing to have conversations with people while you're sleeping, or it's be able to augment your existing sales force. It's really awesome. So that sort of high level 30,000 foot view on how to do that. I hope you like this episode. If you have any comments, we'd love, send them our way. If you're listening on iTunes, we'd love a rating. Please share this on social media. If you have any questions, we'd love to answer them. You can reach out to IndustrialSage.com/questions. Put them in there. We'll answer them for you on an episode. And without any further ado, we're done. Thanks for watching. I'm Danny Gonzalez, and this is Industrial Sage.